If you're like a lot of people, you've probably fallen into a routine. It's easy to forget that there are so many fun, unique activities to do in Pittsburgh when you're so busy with work and taking the kids to do activities, trying to cook a healthy meal or two in between. But we have the expert here. Sean Collier, associate editor of the Pittsburgh Magazine, is here with some tips, things to do after dark. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
You always help me with my social life, thinking of things, fun things to do.
Yeah, and I'm glad I didn't pick a ton of fall seasonal activities for early this month, because fall is not happening right now.
So you're not falling into the pumpkin spice latte?
Oh, I am.
Okay.
I absolutely am. I'm just angry that it's 94 degrees while I'm drinking it.
Yeah, it's not pleasant. It's not as pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about this first thing yesterday a bit.
Yeah.
2001 Space Odyssey.
Yeah, I heard you talked about it yesterday, and I'm excited because I'm a big Kubrick fan. I have not seen this one.
Neither have I.
And, well, it's such a spectacle that every time I remember renting it on VHS when I was like 16, like I'll watch it on my parents' TV. And even then I knew this isn't how this is meant to be viewed. This demands a grand presentation, and no grander presentation in town than the Rangos Giant Cinema over at the Science Center, where it's playing this weekend.
It's so long, I've heard there's going to be an intermission in between.
Sure. I enjoy that.
Chance to get popcorn, right?
I don't know why more theaters don't do it for that reason.
I get it.
I'm running out for Milk Duds anyway if the movie gets dull enough. So.
Millvale Days is also coming up.
Millvale Days, the 13th to the 15th. The thing that grabbed my attention, and it's always a good festival, there's always food trucks. Food trucks and Millvale seem to go very well together, and great music, Wreck Loose and Jim Donovan, the Sun King Warriors. There's a great lineup all weekend. The last spot on that lineup is listed as a special surprise guest. And that caught my attention because I think, even if it's a big name Pittsburgh-based band, even if it were Donnie Iris or the Clarks, you'd put that on the poster. You wouldn't make that a surprise. So what could this surprise possibly be?
Do you know what it is?
Oh, I have no idea.
You haven't gotten to the bottom of it?
No, I want no spoilers for this event, but I figure it's got to be a pretty big deal if they are announcing that there's a surprise, because you don't want to disappoint people. So
people keep saying that Millvale's the next Lawrenceville. Do you see
it's right across the river there. I think Millvale's great. I really have enjoyed my time over there. I think it's a slow rise, which is nice, because sometimes the neighborhoods kind of come back too quickly, and then there's a little bit of a disconnect. Millvale is building a nice identity for itself. Yeah,
well, this is a good way to celebrate it.
Yeah.
A big final party, too, in the Strip District.
Yeah, I have not spent time at Cruz Bar. I saw they were closing, and I asked friends, has this place become a fabric of the community? Particularly, it's one of Pittsburgh's biggest LGBT-friendly bars. And everything I heard was, this is absolutely, become not just a place for drinking and a place for parties, but a gathering place, and a place that has done a lot of charitable work, too, over the years that it's been there. Unfortunately, speaking of places that are developing, we know that there's big changes in store for the Strip. Right. A lot of good things coming. Unfortunately, that's going to have some side effects as well. And one of them is that building was sold. They don't see a good way forward. So at least there's going to be a really, really big party to close it down on the 15th. Yeah.
And let's talk about Paul Simon.
Yeah, so farewell tours are big in the last couple of years. Unfortunately, I think it's for a sad reason. I've heard that a lot of older musicians were kind of spooked, especially by Tom Petty's passing, that you kind of want to control the narrative around, okay, this is the final big tour, and not be trapped into your last show being one that you didn't plan. So artists from Elton John to Slayer, I was at the Slayer farewell tour, a bit of a different vibe than Paul Simon, I'll bet, are doing these big grand goodbye tours. And I didn't notice until I was writing this one, the Paul Simon date in Pittsburgh is like fourth from the end. Like, he's here and then there's 3 in New York, and that's it. So I don't think Paul Simon will never pick up a guitar again, but to be able to say, yeah, I was at Paul Simon's 4th to last touring gig is not an opportunity to be missed. Okay, and lastly, the Great Race. And we talk about this a lot here on PTL. Yeah. You're running it, correct? I am. We talked about when Pittsburgh Magazine ran in the marathon relay team earlier this year. This will be my first 10K. and I'm intimidated. And
You should be.
Have you run it before?
Yeah, I ran it last year. It was
Okay.
it was a cool start to the morning, so I wore pants, and that was the worst decision I could make.
No, that's
Don't.
going to be comfortable for about a quarter mile.
Now, I'm not saying don't wear pants, just wear
Right.
shorts is
Yes.
what I'm saying.
No, it was clear. It was clear.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it because I love that route, particularly at the beginning of fall, the real beginning of fall, starting in the East End and running into downtown. That's really going to be a beautiful way to kind of kick off fall in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, well, good for you, too, for running
thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good stuff going on in the city, and you can find Pittsburgh Magazine's After Dark section on their website. We'll have a link posted for you at k2ka.com/PTL.